Hello, this is Jackie. Today we are watching an interesting movie. Starbuck. 42-year-old David was a middle-aged man who accomplished nothing. He was always lazy in his butcher shop and was reprimanded by his brother. He still owed a debt to his family. Playing football was David's only pastime. He had a pregnant girlfriend, but his girlfriend didn't want this unmotivated man to be the father of her child. One day, the lawyer from the sperm bank came to David. According to the lawyer, 20 years ago, David changed his name to Starbuck, and he donated to the organization 693 times in 23 months and received a total of $24,255 in compensation. Because the quality of sperms was very good, in order to make a profit, the organization gave it all to the customer. Now he had 533 children, but now there were 142 children wanting to know the true identity of their biological father. David signed a confidentiality agreement with the organization every time he donated, so these children filed a lawsuit against this. The lawyer wanted David to come and admit them so as not to cause unrest. Donating blood was sympathetic, but donating sperm would only make people uproar. Because of this, David found his lawyer friend to help him win this lawsuit. The advocate was also a waste man. Not only his parents and his wife looked down on him, but even the bar association rejected him. If he won this unprecedented lawsuit, the lawyer would stay in judicial history and become famous. So he was happy to help David. 142 children wanted to know about Starbuck's identity, so he passed statistics to his friend. Although David never met these children, from the blood relationship, David was indeed their father. Under entanglement, David casually smoked a portfolio. He was surprised to find that this kid was a popular soccer star. David excitedly pulled his friend to the stadium to watch the game. He watched his son, who was also related to him by blood, on the court as if he was fulfilling David's unfulfilled dream. David was extremely proud. He wanted to tell everyone that the soccer star was his son. At this moment, David felt the happiness of being a father. He couldn't wait to open the second one. He found out that this child was not doing well. Etienne's dream was to be an actor instead of working as a bartender. But due to the pressure of life, he would miss the opportunity to audition today. After understanding the situation, David decided to take Etienne's position to let Etienne go to the audition. The reason was that changing the lives of others could bring him a sense of accomplishment. But coffee shop owners couldn't tolerate this kind of behavior. Etienne came back and saw David sitting outside, knowing that his job had been lost. He advised David not to blame himself because he auditioned successfully. Although he couldn't recognize hundreds of children, David felt it was his responsibility to help them. So David opened the third one. This time it was a girl. Julie's living environment was very bad. There were addicts all around, so she was not immune. David happened to hit Julie on drugs. So he rushed her to the hospital for treatment, and the doctor asked Julie to detoxify. But Julie knew that even if she had successfully detoxified, she still got a drug addiction after. The only way was to get rid of the current living environment. She had an important interview tomorrow that would completely change her status quo. So Julie begged David to pretend to be her father to help her leave the hospital. David chose to believe in Julie. He also fulfilled the responsibility of being a father. David fell sleepless night. He didn't know if he made the right decision. He didn't feel relieved until he saw Julie go to work as scheduled the next day. Then David visited many children according to the name list in the file. They lived at all levels of society. There were swimming coaches, tour guides, subway singers, night shows host, handyman, beauty vlogger, salesman, disabled man. They showed the state of society in various poses. He even secretly followed to protect his daughter and confronted the gangsters on the street. He couldn't be the father of everyone, but he would guard them silently. He hoped the children could grow up smoothly. In the process, David's psychology gradually changed. He was no longer depressed and gradually became motivated. Maybe he didn't even notice this change. But his girlfriend saw his transformation and recognized David as a father. David followed these children to the lawyer meeting they organized. He sat in the center and looked at the children who were blood related to him. He stood up involuntarily. At this moment, he was handed a mic. He suddenly had the courage. He picked up the mic and said affectionately, "You can find each other in the vast crowd, to get together to find your father. But you can't forget that whatever happens, you're all brothers and sisters." These words moved everyone. There was enthusiastic applause. The children who had been in contact with David after the meeting enthusiastically showed his favor. To avoid doubt, David lied to be Raphael's adoptive father. Because Raphael was disabled and unable to act, he participated in the meeting on behalf of himself. David took his girlfriend to see his family that day. The father talked about the past at the dinner table. 20 years ago, their family was so poor that they couldn't even afford to pay for their travel. But David came home with money from nowhere, which made them through the most difficult days. He never told his family that the money was earned by donating sperms. On the weekend, David was invited by the children to a party. More than 100 brothers and sisters had fun together. David was also very busy. But their party photos were taken by paparazzi. Overnight, the Starbuck incident spread all over the streets. This triggered a lot of public opinions. His lawyer friend started from here and told the agency to leak the clues. And the media's malicious slander to make a fortune to pay off David's debt. Finally, it was the day for the court to be held. The lawyer won the lawsuit, and the court claimed that Starbuck had the right to remain anonymous. And received $200,000 in compensation. The media interviewed the children who lost the lawsuit, hoping to get more news. The representative John said that even though the media and society were all anti-Starbuck, but in their eyes, father was not a bad person. He was great and gave happiness to people who really needed it. David couldn't bear to see the children's abjection on TV. He told his father the truth, but his father had already guessed out. He took out the shares of the butcher shop to let David pay off the debt and persuade him to confess to the children. Father's encouragement made David determined. He sent an email to the press center and admitted his identity in front of everyone. David's 534th child was born this day. His girlfriend chose to forgive David and promised to marry him. A big family of 145 people was formed like this. Every child prepared a gift for their younger brother. The gifts filled the whole room. This is the end of the video. Maybe some friends already have bold ideas in their hearts. Don't say anything, I will go ahead. Well, this video ends here. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, see you next time.